Okay, so Kris, you and I have been on a little bit of a journey the last few months. Well,
I
really,
feel like it's nearly a year.
it's like, what, May? Was it May?
Yeah, May.
So, yeah, nearly a year when we kind of started to vocalize this idea and this product and this idea behind helping people to feel more calm and grounded in their everyday life. And it really, I don't know about you, but I feel like it kind of came together from these, like, both of our unique perspectives and stories, and like how the product has become like this version of both of us. And I think we should start with that and start with like explaining what the story is and like what your experience has been in breathing, mindfulness, emotional regulation, nervous system health, and then how that is shaping what we're creating. Does that feel like a good place to start?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think mine place in our little duo here has come from a very like lived experience. Hang on.
That was
not
good.
going into that question at all, so I'm just throwing me.
Sorry, do you want me to ask a specific
No,
question?
that's all right.
No, that was really good way to start. Like I think, my role in this duo, that was good.
Okay, and then just go into like
Was the lived experience.
Yeah, and then of the physical. Okay, yeah. So I think my role in this duo comes from a very lived experience. I feel like for a long time, probably as long as I can think back, I was living with a lot of physical symptoms. No, okay, I can't do this off reading off there. Okay, I can't do it fucking off the cuff.
I think you're doing really well.
I just forget everything I meant to say.
Okay, I'm going to ask you questions.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so Kris, I think the biggest thing in our relationship that has helped guide this whole journey of Taken is in your experience with nervous system dysregulation and breathing dysregulation. So I want to go back to the very beginning and look at what was happening for you physically that made you start to understand what might have been happening physiologically for you.
Yeah, so mine's like a very lived experience. So I think looking back, my physical symptoms were just ongoing for years, like almost like an undiagnosed physical symptoms. I was constantly having tension in my neck, sore shoulders, constantly seeing physios, thinking it was related to like my physical activities at the gym.
Because you work out a lot, right?
I do, and I love working out. Like I'm an active relaxer is what you'd call me. But then, on from that, I'd still be getting these tensions through my chest, like tight chest muscles.
And so you said you went to a physio.
Yes.
What did they say?
So in the beginning, it was just your like overstrained rotator cuff, or so making me believe that this was just from the gym, like all this tension in my neck, these headaches, these tight muscles through my chest just still didn't make sense.
Okay.
And it was like when I got to that point, realizing, there's something more to this, and I was getting to the point I literally could not take like a deep breath. So I was as a very short, sharp, shallow breather, and it should have been so clear to me then, but it wasn't. That it was due to my breathing, that all these little, like, the intercostal muscles and all these muscles around your chest were just tightened because they were just like constricted because I was just constantly using like my chest muscles. I literally could not take a deep breath to my belly. So those were the physical symptoms that I were dealing with for a very, very long time.
What about your sleep?
Back then, or like just over the years?
Or just over the years, like
looking back, I've always, I guess, taken like a magnesium, a leothine, like something to just help me relax my mind to go to sleep. And then often waking, 2 or 3 times a night, thinking that's normal.
And how would you wake up feeling?
just like thoughts, you know, like just my mind's instantly kind of on, struggling to switch and go back to sleep. Often wake up trying not to be so wide, so start reading in the middle of the night. And this, I get into phases of, and I can now notice I'm in this state, right? And I'm in a heightened, you know, work's busy, I'm still working, and I try to switch off at night. And if I wake in the middle of the night, I start reading. And I probably shouldn't, but it's my way of like down regulating again, getting my mind of thinking of other things, and then drifting back off to sleep. But I've recently been having these, I've been telling you, you know, work's been quite crazy, and me juggling work, the business, kids, like there has been points whereas, you know, I can feel the stress levels rising, and even though I'm way more aware of it now, it still does affect me. And so physically lately it has been affecting my sleep, and I've been, from what I've researched, I feel like I'm having these cortisol spikes in the middle of the night, and I'm causing me to wake like 3 to 4 times a night with these like hot flushes. And I'm just sitting, I'm lying there thinking, what the fuck is going on? Ashley's messaging me like, you're pregnant. I'm not fucking pregnant.
You think you're going through perimenopause?
Yeah. I'm telling her I'm going through perimenopause, but, you know, I'm getting these cortisol spikes in the middle of the night. And then when I really reflect on it, I'm like, God, this has been like a build-up of like, you know, 3 weeks of just constant like feelings of urgency and stress at work, like, you know, just like.
And do you think like, I know
No.
we've talked about this, but like, you know, are you the type of person that would like push through and then be like, this happens? Like, or do you feel like you're aware it's going on, but you're just ignoring it? Well, those are probably both the same thing, but
100% unaware before.
Yeah.
I was, like upon reflection, I think I was, it affected me emotionally throughout my life. I've always been on the go.
Yeah.
Like I'd be, you know, by my friends referred to as the active relaxer, or as Dr. Libby would say, like the rushing woman syndrome. Like that really resonated with me. I could just not calm my mind. Like I was forever chasing like glimpses of calm.
Do you feel like my experience of you all those years ago too was like quite like moving quickly? Like, would you say the same thing? Like
100%.
You know, like like that rushing woman syndrome is a perfect analogy. Like moving fast, like moving the body fast.
Yes. I felt like I was very like you said, like moving fast, and it probably came off like ADHD, like very much so. I think I was referred to that long ago, and I remember when someone told me that, and I thought, what the hell? Like, I don't have ADHD, like so unaware.
Yeah.
And you look, I'm not saying I do. I don't know if I do, but I was just 100% living in a dysregulated like nervous system. But yeah, I was very on the go, impatient. I came across very impatient. I was very agitated. Like it didn't take me much to feel agitated. And I always think of this analogy of, you know, when you're like in the car and you're like running late to an appointment, and you just got this like rush of urgency running through your body. Like it's a horrible feeling. And I feel like that was me every day, you know, like rushing to get the kids out the door, like rushing for them to like get dressed, or like just when really there was no sense of urgency. There shouldn't have been a sense of urgency.
When you think back and put yourself back into those moments in your life, like, did you feel that way, or was there just a sense that this was normal and this was like who you were?
You know what? It's a bit of both. Like I definitely felt like this is not normal. I felt like, if I'm being completely honest, this is my normal, because I see my dad very much like that. So I've just inherited that, and that's my DNA, and this is who I am. Whereas like upon reflection, like that's not who I am. That was just a reaction, like a reflection of like the state of my nervous system. Not so much a reflection of like me as a person. And it's taken me a long time to come to terms and realize and acknowledge that, you know, that's not who I am. It's maybe who I was, But that's because I was just continuously living in this dysregulated nervous state.
It's interesting you say that, because I think so much of like our our emotional state is attached to our personalities. And I talk about this
Yeah.
a lot with, how we talk about raising our kids, and like how I try and say or reword emotions from being like about like I am an emotion to just I am feeling an emotion. And like because we kind of attach so much of these
Yeah.
things, right? Like agitated,
Yeah.
impatient, like
Yeah.
frustrated, angry. Like we attach those emotional conditions to our personalities and then think that that is who we are, and that's something we can't move through and change in circumstances in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was very, when you keep saying this word agitate, like it just resonates because I felt like I was very reactive, and I feel like that was even more prominent in motherhood. Like I was a very reactive mother. Like regrettably, I was very reactive and impatient and sorry.
Like rushing.
Yes, hang on. Sorry, we'll start that again.
That's fine.
Yes, so I felt like I was a very reactive mother and like quite impatient, and it called okay, sorry. No, sorry, that's where I was going with that. I feel like I was like a very reactive mother, and I couldn't control my reactions to like some of my kids' actions, which was just normal kids doing normal kid things, and I was just so heightened. I didn't have I wouldn't say self-control. I didn't have the tools to choose how to react. And I used to berate myself for that. Like, as soon as I'd snap at the kids, I'd just feel so awful for it. But I just could not control it. I just genuinely could not. And then I just, once again, like, I'm just like my dad, like, and as much as I love him, like I know he struggled with that. So once again, this is who I am. Like, this is me. And that's just what you got to accept, really.
Yeah, and that was going to be my question is like, do you think that hang on. No, scrap that. I'm curious. So during that, what you're talking about, do you think people like friends, family, like would they have been like aware, or would have they just been like, oh yeah, that's Kris
of
and
me?
Like, yeah, what do you think? Like, what do you think they would think listening to you say this? I guess, like, do they? I didn't notice that about her, or like, what do you?
I
think?
don't know. Like, it's. I should be asking you, but like, I was aware of it in the fact that yes, I'm very fast, and yes, I'm very agitated, but as in that's just who I am.
Yeah.
So, Mum would kind of make comments like, "Oh, you're just like your father," and like it used to fuck me off. Like that fucks me off more than anyone when someone says that. But
my parents do the same thing.
Yeah, like because it felt like it was something I couldn't control,
and you couldn't change.
No, that I couldn't change. So that's what it was like. This realization of shit. They see that in me. Like I see that in myself, but that's not something I want them to see in me. So when someone, it's like a very honest kind of reflection when someone's saying it to you.
And then someone's telling you you're like someone that that what happened, what they're like sort of thing, right?
Yes,
like,
and what you don't like want to be like, right? But it was actually you, Ash, your guidance and yogic breath that helped me basically learn to like retrain my breath again. And we did that through your famous double down. So
before you go,
I don't even know if it's a breathing technique or if you just made it up.
I just want to go back though, because it's really interesting. You talked about the chest muscles,
Yes.
right? And we've spoken about this, and I think it's important that we talk about it because, like, when you're breathing, you're using a muscle to breathe, and what Christy was experiencing, and eventually you heard from a physio,
yes,
that your breathing was dysregulated,
right?
Right.
So the last time I went for the physio for my scat pain, actually, he said, "Can you just lie down for me?" So I lay down on the bed. He goes, can you just breathe for me? Like, breathe how you normally would. And then he got for me to breathe in, like, long, big inhale, like, long, big exhale. And he just looked at me and he said, oh, there's nothing wrong with your shoulders. Like, you've got dysregulated breathing. And it was just like this pivotal moment. And I was so unaware. Like, to that point, so unaware that my breath was causing all these issues. But in a blink of a moment, like, it all made sense, you know, like these tightening through my chest and constant chest breathing. And I could not, like I said, I couldn't for the life of me get that breath all the way to my stomach. So when you told me about the yogic breath, trying to inhale, take that breath all the way to the stomach, I thought, what the hell? Why can I not do this? You know, it was like,
so your diaphragmatic muscle was completely switched off, and
completely.
you were using all these muscles to breathe. So you imagine like that movement,
that
right?
tension
and
in the
that's
shoulders, like constant tension. Yeah, and that was like, just like you train a muscle, like you're trap dominant, like you've learned to use this chest muscle, and that now is the only one that's your default. That has become your default, and I had to retrain my breath to like essentially build out that diaphragmatic muscle to be able to like breathe deeply and properly again. So it was that yogic breath that like made me, no, scrap that bit. It was that diaphragmatic. It was that diaphragmatic breath that kind of correlated everything I had been going through to understanding my dysregulated breathing, to then doing something about it and seeing that change in my nervous system.
And one of the things like we spoke about, right? So Christy's talked a lot about like emotions that were a part of, like, you know, that you believe to be a part of your personality.
Yeah.
And though when you're breathing in and out of your chest, in a yogic philosophy or Eastern philosophy or whatever you want to call it, this is such an emotional storehouse, right? It's where our heart resides. It's an emotional place for us. And so when we are sort of breathing in and stimulating our chest, we're likely more reactive. We're likely 100%. More emotional. We're likely more heightened. We're likely more, stressed. Your bra's hanging out.
Sorry.
We're likely more more reactive and heightened and aware, and less feeling, those feelings of less safety are present in the body, right?
Correct.
So then we went down a journey of yogic breathing with you.
Yes.
And how long did that take? What was I know it was just sort of like me kind of explaining how to breathe like that, and then you kind of had to build up your own capacity.
To be honest, it was literally weeks, if not months, to learn this basic breathing again, like retraining my breath to just let it enter into my stomach. And I've explained to you before, like when I first tried to do these, get my breath into my stomach, it was like the feeling of, you know, when you go to blow up a balloon and that first like bit of like restriction that you get, like that's what it felt like. And it was just the biggest challenge to get that breath all the way to my belly. So I would say it took a good 3 to 6 weeks to like just to start training out that muscle and making it feel a little bit more normal, because it didn't feel normal for a very long time. Like very.
Were there any things that you felt trying to breathe like that? Like I think I can remember you saying you felt sick.
Yeah, like panic, like instant like panic, because it just felt like I was trying to get this breath to my belly and I couldn't. So then panic arise, like, and feeling sick, like dizzy, shortness and I already had shortness and breath, but feelings
exacerbated that.
Yes, 100%. Like,
can you tell me? I think you did experience panic attacks.
I feel like I was very much on the verge of them. Like at one point, I remember I had to my partner had to sit me on the ground and sit behind me and just talk me through inhales and exhales because I genuinely could not get a deep breath. So I was just sighing, constant yawns. That was actually another huge physical sign. constantly yawning throughout the day.
Mm.
So when I got to that point and I know I'm doing it throughout the day, I'm like, I'm in trouble here. I'm not going to be able to breathe tonight. Like literally, I'd be like,
Wow.
oh shit, I'm not
Was
going to be
this
able to
once
breathe
the
tonight.
physio had told
No,
you,
this
or
is
this was
this is
before?
prior.
Okay.
This is before I was aware that the breath. So yes, it affected my breath, but I didn't aware the breath was the problem. You know, I wasn't aware the breath was the root cause. I was just trying to deal with all these like external or physical symptoms, but was not treating the cause. So just years and years of treating the symptom, which leads us to like, you know, we're trying to get to the root cause of a lot of people's issues in life or emotional feelings.
And I think it's such an interesting topic because I think in so many ways, right, there's a spectrum of all these things. Like fuck that.
What do you want me to ask you?
No, I think we'll just stay on your way and then
Okay.
we can do me
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah.
I think, because this is so good.
Okay.
You're so good at this.
Okay. That's lovely to hear.
I think what I was trying to say is like the root cause. Yeah. So the root cause stuff that is really interesting because I think for so many people we're treating the symptom, lack of sleep or poor sleep. So, you know, like you mentioned at the beginning, magnesium and different supplements to help you fall asleep. There's an underlying reason or cause or something's going on in the system, the bodily system that's impacting the sleep, right?
Correct.
Same with your, you know, your muscle tightness, your tension, your hips. It won't always be related to breathing and nervous system health, but for so many symptoms that we're seeing and that we're understanding from our customers and our focus groups and our friends and family is linked in some ways to poor breathing health.
Correct. And it's just trying to create that awareness, right? Like, and I just have to always look back to how I was when I was in that state and I was very unaware. So, you know, what we're trying to create is that link between how you're feeling, how to get them aware, and then how to get them back into their bodies and try to find that sense of calm amongst the chaos, you know, because that is everyday life. And that is what I now I can happily say I can go between the like ebbs and flows of fight and flight and rest and digest, which I could never say I could eat like ever would I have been able to do that before.
And then like so how do you do that now every day? What is your go-to technique?
My go-to technique, as soon as I become aware that, you know, I'm it's probably more at work, slightly more shit, I can feel the stress kind of building. I always go back to the double down. So inhale for 6 and then exhale for 12. So I'm just trying to lengthen my exhale. And honestly, just even a minute of that while I'm driving. My go-to is driving in the car. That's when I seem to have, that's my time. It's like, you know, a bit of reflective time. That's when I do my breathing. So I'm just driving and I'm doing my inhale, extended exhales, and that can just absolutely switch my thoughts, my racing thoughts. B, like calms me instantly. What I was panicking about before, whether it's a job, whether it's shit, who's picking up Marco today, those are instantly tamed down. You know, they're not as reactive. They're
you can approach them more groundedly.
Absolutely.
Not really.
Yeah, I can approach them with a different perspective, you could say. Yeah. And
so I'll just explain, like, we've just coined extending the length of your exhale, the double down, right? So it's just doubling the length of your inhale. So that could be at the beginning 1 and 2.
100%. You know, that was me. That was me in the beginning, right? I've had to, same as building your butt muscle, you know. We all like to build our glutes. It's the same thing. You start with a light rack. You start with a light inhale, like a 1 and a 2, and then you build that muscle, because it's not realistic to jump from a dysregulated breathing to be able to inhale for 10, exhale for 20. Like, it's just not realistic.
And I think the really cool thing to mention is, like, even me, like, some days I can't breathe well, you know, like it's a journey and it's an evolution, and it's like almost such an ongoing relationship with your own awareness and
100%.
breathing and being able to be confident in the ebb and flow of like, okay, today is a day where I need more, or today is a day where I need less, or today is just about getting a couple of conscious breaths in my body.
100%, yeah.
Okay, what do we want to go to now?
What was on that content plan?
I've got it on my laptop.
You take that because you can't see this, but anyway, don't need that.
Tools and approaches to feel less triggered and more emotionally steady.
What about like ask me that question what Alice asked
About safety in the body.
Yeah, and then I'll be like, what are the tools you use for safety in your body? Because we didn't share those, yeah.
Yeah. So we went to a lovely yoga.
Vinyasa, was it? Yin. Don't even know.
No, the workshop. It was a nervous system health workshop with a lovely practitioner here in Bali, Alice. And
we love Alice.
We do love Alice. She was great.
She was great.
She asked us a question.
Yes.
About what do we do to feel safety in our bodies? And I'm curious, let's share what your answer was.
So to feel safe in my body, the first thing I like to do is step outside, bare feet, connect my feet with grass, ideally. I kind of just like stare up at the sky and just like let the light kind of, into my eyes, and that's my first tool of being grounded. My number one tool for immediate kind of deregulation is just grabbing my book, jumping on the couch, sitting outside, and just, even if it's 5-10 minutes of reading, like it's just, that's me stilling my mind, stilling my body. My other tool would be, and my favorite, and what I try to do every night, which is going outside with the kids, playing, having fun.
Yeah, laughing,
all of us with our shoes off. It's a little running joke with the kids, like, Marco, Mum, I'm going to go outside and do some grounding. Like, I love that. I love that he's taken that on as well. So going outside, playing a bit of pickleball on the grass, or that there, like, really, truly soothes my soul. Like, nothing makes me feel more grounded, more calm, and more at ease about anything else that's happening in life than being outdoors in the fresh air, whether it's playing basketball, playing pickleball with the kids. Like, that's my go-to.
Joy is such an important part of joy and laughter, and like just
being present.
Sometimes when we're not present, when we're in our heads and in our states, like it's hard to get and find those moments of laughter and joy and ease, because you're kind of trapped in this space of how stressful and how overwhelming everything feels.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your tools? Like, what makes you feel safe in your own body?
I mean, mine were very similar to yours on the day, but I think like something I do is like just breathe. So I think I say this a lot, and my meditation practice has evolved and changed a lot now, and I've got 2 young kids. My meditation and my meditation practice has evolved a lot. Now I've got 2 young kids, and that ability to sit for meditation it looks very different. So for me, it's just about wherever I am, just taking a moment with my hand on my chest, my hand on my belly, and sometimes it's just one breath. And then if I'm really struggling, it is also just doing an affirmation about I am safe, my children are safe. Like I often say this, I am safe, my family is safe, I'm connected to my body. Because I think
it's beautiful.
Often I'm like, I think I've spoken to you about this before, but my default when I'm, I guess stimulated, my nervous system is a bit overwhelmed, is to dress rehearse tragedy and to see all that is negative or challenging in the world and dress rehearse the potential that things will go wrong in my life. And that ability to get out of that obviously creates a whole heap of anxiety in me and overwhelm, and like, because I'm looking for threats. Like our brain and our body and our survival is based around us scanning the environment constantly for threats to our safety. And so that just exacerbates that, because my mind is telling my body that I am unsafe because there is things going on that I'm kind of dress rehearsing in my head. So I know that when I get to that point, I have to reconnect with my breathing as a sign to my body physiologically. I don't know if that's the right word, but that my body is safe, but I need to switch it out of my mind because my mind often leads the show. And so that's where I just pile on that affirmation, 3 breaths at the same time I'm saying I'm safe, my kids are safe, my family is safe, I'm grounded, and I'm blessed that that is the case. I'm blessed to live in a place in a country where that is true, that my kids are safe. In that present moment, we are all in a space of safety.
I love that even when you're in a place of safety, you're still multitasking. Of course, you're doing a breath, your mantra, like you've got your mantra going. You're just.
I'm still on the go, right? I think the thing though about that is often that's like my second layer is like if I can't get myself out of, I guess the frazzled state with just the breath alone, I have to layer in that mind, like switching off my mind in a way, and that's the only way that I know how to do that is like often yelling at my mind to stop thinking is not always going to help.
And what about journaling? Like, do you find journaling helpful for, you've obviously got a very busy mind, like getting those thoughts down after doing your breaths and connecting, back in your body? Do you find it helpful to like journal? Like, do you?
No, but yes. In some ways, like I don't have a constant ritualized journal practice. I would love to, and I do think it would help. It's just not something I've been able to like really own and grasp in my life. Often I will write letters to myself or to like situations. So I can do that.
Like letting go?
Yeah, or just like, just writing out what my thoughts are. Like often
that is journaling.
Yeah, but like I can, but not constantly, right? I don't dear diary every day. I like that might happen once a month where I'm like, okay, I'm in a spiral. My mind, I can't stop thinking about this.
Yeah.
There's no, like, I just need to like write it out.
Yes.
And often I'll just write it out like for 3 or 4 pages to the point that then I'm like, oh, I'm actually not upset about this anymore.
Yeah.
Or
so it does work.
Yeah, but it's not, I think my understanding of the journal, I don't know, do you journal?
Well, now you're confusing me because I'm like, I don't do it constantly, but I do go through phases of, and whether it's just like, whether it's just something small, like what I'm grateful for today, or it's more me trying to articulate what I'm feeling in my body. So the more I'm aware, I think when I go for a run, I find my flow state, right? So that's when I come back from that, and that's when my thoughts are real clear. So that's when I like to like write down my thoughts, and especially going through this phase of like really trying to figure out like my purpose, and and found it really helpful after like Dad passing, just like writing thoughts that are coming to me, and just so I do find it very helpful, and I find the consistency. I'm a very routine person, so like the consistency of, taking a moment to do a few breaths and then journaling, I just find something really quite calming, and maybe that is part of my safe space. Like it really does help me, and it's also helps create that routine and ritual, and that I think in itself is.
How often do you do it?
I go through phases. I could do it like on an ideal week, I would do it maybe like 4 times.
Yeah,
I went through a phase of doing it every day, and that's the best I've felt. And I really prioritize it, and I'd make a cup of coffee, go sit outside. This is like 6 a.m. No one's awake. Probably 5:30, 6 a.m. No one's awake. Birds are chirping, and you're just like writing your thoughts. And those are the days, like my best start to my day.
I think for me, like that I think works.
Yeah.
And I think I'm quite erratic as a person, and I'm like, me, I'm like all over the shop, And so I think
You need a doodle pad,
I-
a scribble pad.
she just gets 15 voice notes. But I think for me, it's more about like, I've kind of got like a little entry level relationship with so many different modalities that I'm now like, what do I need? Like it's sort of like a prescriptive thing, and I'm just in my own body and I'm in my own mind, and I just go about my life prescribing myself my own little like techniques and tools when I need them, rather than like living this more like overly habitual and ritualized every day that I'm doing something the same. And I think for a long time I thought that was what wellness had to look like, that I got up at 6 a.m. and I went for a run and I went to the gym and I meditated for 5 minutes, and then it had to be the exact same time for the exact same amount of, like, you know, to make it impactful. Whereas like as I've matured, I guess, or moved on from that, I feel now I'm just incorporating all these different things into my life in ways that feel right for me, and that let me just move in my own way and stay in my lane and be authentic to who I am. And I think that has helped me on my journey more than anything. Like just letting go of the expectation that it needed to look a certain way.
Definitely.
And that it needed to tick so many boxes to be helpful, and just, I don't know, like really be true. And then, like I say, sometimes I journal and it's like 15 pages of me writing out this dress rehearsed anger with something that's happened, and then I won't open that for months again. You know, I won't open a journal for months.
And I also feel, because, you know, we talk about these different levels of awareness, and I feel like, you know, I'm still kind of like a number 2 and you're like a number 4. So I think when you're probably so fluent within all these modalities within the wellness, right? Like you can like chop and change and do what suits you. Whereas someone that's not so self-aware, I think it's important to build that consistency. Right. And that's why I find it so helpful. And when I'm going through different phases, and whether that could be like, you know, whether it's in like relationships or, you know, a job, and you're just really unsure on things, I think the consistency of whether it's doing your yogic breath every day, the journaling, the gratitude, I think it's that kind of consistency that really helps the not so aware people who want to be a bit more aware, you know, like that habit, like that.
You're totally right, because the way I came into this was by doing a 9-month yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
Where I had to practice like that every day.
Hence why you're a level 400. I'm level 2.
You know, that was what started this awareness journey for me, right? Was being able to go, okay, I've got to practice every day like this. And so then I like, and we had to, it was actually such a blessing that I did it this way. So it was in Auckland, and I had to like journal, there we go. I had to like write down as my homework for the month, like each day what I had practiced and what I felt about it. So it was like a forced awareness thing. Like, and at the end of the month we would submit our I guess our diary.
And you just get so good at articulating your thoughts and feelings, right? Whereas in the beginning that could have been quite confronting. Absolutely. Probably not for you, but it would be for a lot of people.
No, I mean, this was for me at that time in my life, right? And, you know, so you layered on the yoga asanas. And so, you know, the first month I had to do this, like rotate my wrists. It's like a very, I guess, an early asana that you learn in yoga teacher training. And there's just like these rotating the wrists, rotating your shoulders. Like I had to do that every day for 30 days as part of my practice. And I was like, you know, and then write down how I felt about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't do yoga teacher training to do this. And here I am like scribbling out how mad I am. And like, it really made me realize that slowing down and doing slow practice and not, you know, rushing to the end goal of being able to do a headstand, which I cannot do and have never been able to do. But like, that's not the purpose of it. That's not, you won't see any of those here. But, you know, that's not the purpose of this exploration of self. The purpose of the exploration of self is understanding where you're at any time in your life.
Absolutely.
And that whole process just gave me such an awareness that I guess I'm blessed for.
Yeah, love that. That was great, hon. I've never heard that story.
No, I just came up.
Yeah. I love that.
Fucking hated it at the time, but
yeah, interesting. What else do we want to touch on?
We've only got a little bit more.
No, I know that we could
That was
actually...
probably pretty
Oh,
good.
it's
Like,
5
yeah.
over 2.
Yeah, I'm sure we would have got a few snippets out of that.
Yeah. Well done. We're good at this.
Okay. Oh, should we just like get it?